Live in Paris, U.S. officials are currently on heightened alert, scrambling to protect the American homeland from any possible attack at the hands of ISIS or any other terrorist group. Joining me to talk about this risk is Senator Dianne Feinstein, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, thanks so much for being with us as always. As you know, ISIS today issued a threat to attack Washington, D.C. You've just been briefed. Is there a credible terror threat against the U.S. right now from ISIS?
Well, I believe it's as you said. There is a threat, and so threat levels go up, and everybody does the best they can to prepare. I think we're in a very difficult time because ISIS is not under control, and I think the three big events which have been pointed out on your show over and over again in a month, whether it's Beirut, whether it's the Russian passenger liner, whether it's Paris, indicates a scope and a depth to the ability of ISIS to operate. So I don't think any of us can make light of it, but I think we have to be prepared, and I believe that's what's happening. I think far more important is how do we get the free, democratic Western world together to be able to work together to provide some element of safety to people and also to defeat what is the worst scourge I have seen in my political lifetime.
I want to get to the Syrian refugee question and dilemma in a second, but before I do, I just want to ask you, are intelligence officials, as far as you know, picking up any chatter that might be concerning from sympathizers of ISIS and other terrorist groups within the United States?
Well, I haven't had a chance to discuss chatter with anybody today. The Intelligence Committee tomorrow will be discussing this, and I will be sure to ask that question.
Were any of the 8 terrorists, as far as you know, known to U.S. law enforcement or the national security apparatus in any way?
Well, I think the names are known. More than that, I can't tell you.
Senator, we're going to have much more on this story in just a second, but I do want to ask about the fact that the governors from more than a dozen states in the United States have announced that they are refusing to accept any refugees from Syria. There are some states that have said the opposite, they will accept them, but more than a dozen have said no. What is your take on that response, and are you confident that there are sufficient measures in place to screen these Syrian refugees and make sure that no terrorists are embedded or smuggled amongst the thousands of refugees who may resettle in the United States?
Well, we're going to be in the process of checking on the vetting and going through it from A to Z to see that it is broad-based and effective. California will not be one of those states, I believe. This, comes at such a terrible time because you have people literally fleeing for their lives. And of course, it's possible for somebody to intermingle with them that has really evil intent. And that's a terrible problem. But come winter, to see children freezing in the snow, I don't think that's what the Western world wants either. So I would hope that governors would be very slow to make these statements. I don't think that befits our country very well. The president has said that he would take 10,000. The president has said that our vetting will be full and comprehensive, and it's up to us on the legislative side to see that that in fact happens.
Senator Dianne Feinstein, ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jay.